Hey guys, it's OdaibaDiver here. After an extended hiatus from YouTube, I'm finally back, so expect new videos daily, and in fact on some days I may even upload more than one video in the same day. For example, about 6 to 8 hours after the post timing of this video, I will be uploading a livestream recap for all of the information that they shared with us on the JP official livestream yesterday. So that includes all the information revealed about Rafu so far, as well as details on the quality of life improvements coming to World of Visions JP in the next 3 months. So one of those features is something called Guild Battle Sub-Deck slot. So on top of a main deck, on top of your main deck for Guild Battle, you will now be able to make a sub-deck as well. I'll explain what that is used for in the livestream recap video, but for now, let's just say that moving forward, I do plan to share with you guys more information and tips for World of Visions JP as well as the global version. In fact, I basically one of the things I am trying to aim for is to make more content specifically about the global version of the game. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, make sure to, or rather consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and ring the notifications bell to be informed whenever I upload a new video. Alright, with that out of the way, let's head back to the topic of discussion for today. So basically in this video, what I want to show you is that really Yuffie is a fantastic unit for fire evade, and that even though a lot of people have this misconception that if you have Sephiroth on the dark team, you'll definitely beat all of the evade teams out there, that's really not the case, and there are many occasions where fire evade is actually the favored team going into this matchup. So one thing I've been kind of hearing a lot about, I think somebody even said that a certain other content creator have been saying that Sephiroth is like the most impactful unit to have come out in World of Visions. For months now, he's been the most impactful unit in JP. That's really not the case. Honestly, Sephiroth and Dark Team are really good for the first 2 months, first 1.5 months after Sephiroth is out, and then after that what happens is Light Team is so much better after Wingstern comes out, and all of the other elements really get a bunch of different upgrades, and meanwhile Dark Team, Dark Element doesn't get any new things to play with until April 1st in JP, when we finally get Rafu. So basically Rafu is kind of like the anticipated upgrade to Dark Element team, and hopefully she will be able to bring the Dark Elemental teams back into the limelight. But for now, really in JP, Dark Team is just kind of okay, so I'm about to show you one of the reasons why. So over here I have for you is a fairly typical Fire Evade team setup. Now there are two versions of Fire Evade running around in JP Top Guild Battle. One of them is the double evade formation here, with King Mont serving as the tank to protect the evade units, and this is what a typical setup for that looks like. As you can see here, I don't really have space to run the Dark Ifrit vision card, but so that's why actually in global right now I'm not polling for Dark Ifrit yet. In fact, there are going to be, I believe in JP what happened was after Dark Ifrit was out, about 2 or 3 months later, there is a select vision card banner that you can pull on to get your Dark Ifrit that way. And even before then, there's a bunch of 10 UR vision card banners that you can pull on using paid vis. So even if you don't go for Dark Ifrit right now, I think it's safe to say that you will definitely have quite a bit of chance to get it in the future. So that's one reason why I'm not pulling for it now. But the other Fire Evade setup is definitely triple evade. I would love to show that off to you guys, but unfortunately in my JP version account, I do not actually have Pizarro. So right now I can't show that to you. So this video is going to show off the double evade build. As to which Fire Evade build is better, double evade or triple evade, that really depends on the map. There are some situations where triple evade is better, but there are also some certain situations where the King Mon version is better. So I'm gonna leave it at that for the Fire Evade team. As for the Dark Team, this is what the standard build for Dark Team more or less looks like, regardless of map. Normally you want Dark Fina to be the unit with bow tie, so that your enemies will move towards Dark Fina while your Slash boys, Sephiroth and Ruinstern, can sort of progress together and try and sneak up on the enemies and do like a dual team combo on the enemy tank or the enemy units. So anything I think you guys need to note about this team? I guess before Dark Bahamut comes out, in this slot we usually run Omega. Basically the idea is as long as you have Omega and the Persona 5 vision card in separate slots, so if you have Omega on the main slot, you want to put Persona 5 vision card on the sub slot to maximize on the HP up party effect. So that's one thing to look out for if you don't have, for the people who don't plan on pulling Dark Bahamut, I guess. But if you have Dark Bahamut, or rather later on when Dark Bahamut is out in global version, you definitely want to put it in this slot. And then for Dark Team, speed is really important for them in most situations, so that's why you usually run double AGI up vision cards in the main slot and the sub slot. And this is more or less how it looks regardless of the map, but there are people who run Halloween Lucia in this slot, and then of course if you do that, then the vision cards will change. And then I think one other option that's fairly popular is you can replace Dark Fina with a tank, like Engelbert or some other tank. There was a map 2 months ago where I ran Alphonse here in the slot, and it will basically serve the same purpose of protecting your 2 attackers as they run along and deal a bunch of damage. So that's enough explaining for the team formation. So I'm just going to show you now that the trust notes that I have, the trust note sets are Luck and Agility, Luck and Speed for Yuffie, Luck and Speed on King Mont, and of course Luck and Speed as well on Valentine Ildira. As for the Dark Team, Dark Fina alone has HP and Speed because she doesn't need the extra Luck. And then for Ruinstern, because he's using the same TMR as King Mont, so of course it's going to be Luck and Speed. One thing to point out is that I have the third stone in my speed set. It's actually replaced with an aim set because I have better passes on that stone. So one thing to note about that. And then finally on Sephiroth, we also have Luck and Agility, Luck and Speed sets basically. Because there are times where if he runs out of AP and he cannot use a guaranteed hit attack, I guess the extra luck comes useful in that situation. But I think actually most of the time I would prefer to run HP set for Sephiroth. It really depends on your preference. Now one thing to note is that I'm using bells here purely for the stats. So as you can see here, I have bells TMR skill turned off. And basically we are going to watch 2 fights for Fire Evade versus Sephiroth, and the first version of the fight will have Masamune in waiting turned on, so you can see how that goes. And then the second version of the fight, which is basically I think what is the better version of the Dark Team, I will basically turn off Masamune in waiting off. I'll turn it off, and what you will see is on turn 1 Sephiroth will just run forward and use his Dark Wall, or what is it called in global? Well, the move that gives him AP up and barrier. So I believe it's Veil of Woe, right? In any case, we're going to watch 2 fights and you'll see why in this matchup, on this current guild battle map we're playing on in JP, why Fire Evade has the upper hand. Alright, the first fight in this video, as you can see everybody here is at level 140. Just to explain, for Ruinstern, his Transcendence is actually not that great. It's one of the worst ones that I've seen, but I decided to make him level 140 anyway because it does help him. Basically, the benefit you get is just a little bit of extra stats, and his Barrier Break move has plus 30 more accuracy. And you'll see him use the Barrier Break move later on in this fight when he uses the attack against Valentine Ildira. So that's definitely one of the things you definitely want to watch out for, whether or not the plus 30 accuracy is useful or not. Alright, so with that said, let's head into the battle and get the party started. Okay, so first things first, Valentine Ildira runs to the center and uses the operative evade buff, and Yuffie does the same. This is something I'll explain later why it needs to be that particular buff. And then for Sephiroth, he comes in with Masamune in waiting, followed by a Keen Blade from Runestern, and then Keen Blade over here on King Mont as well. Dark Fina with the re-raise, and this is Shadow Dance on Valentine Udira, and Yuffie uses her custom buff, the one that negates guaranteed hits. And here we have a bit of a RNG moment. Sephiroth using a limit burst, but it gets reflex on Valentine Udira. I think I will have to run this fight over again, just to make things more fair. You know, I don't want you guys to feel like Fire Evade wins this fight because of the reflex right over there. So we're gonna watch this fight one more time right after this. Anyway, Yuffie goes on to do her limit burst against Dark Fina. I think should put her at about 25% HP. Yep, about there. Shadow Flare on Valentine Udira, and that takes her out. So I guess nothing much really changes. And then Runestern is able to get a hit on King Mont, who recovers back to almost full health. He does a little bit of damage to Dark Fina, triggering the re-raise, and I believe the next turn Yuffie is going to take her out. No, she runs over and takes out Runestern instead. Interesting. Now Sephiroth comes in and kills off King Mont, so now right now it looks like a 2v1 situation, and straight away Yuffie is able to convert it into a 1v1. And now we come to the main highlight of this video. As you can see here, oh, Sephiroth chooses to use the triple hit move for some reason. I'm not too sure why actually. I guess this is partially because I have Luck Stone equipped so that Sephiroth has more accuracy than usual, which actually makes him you know, try not to use the guaranteed hit moves when he feels like he has a chance of hitting Yuffie. Or maybe it's because Yuffie's guaranteed hit nullify move has not, you know, expired yet. I'm not too sure about that. In any case, we're gonna watch this fight one more time because, like I said, the first time around, Valentine Udira reflexed the first hit, so I feel like that's not a good example to show off. So we're gonna start this right back up about now. Alright, so we are back through the powers of editing. Once again, we have the exact same setup, so I won't be commentating on what's happening in the first half of the fight. The only thing that we want to see here is that, you know, what happens if Valentine Udira didn't actually reflex the first hit. So earlier I talked about how Sephiroth decided to use his triple hit on Yuffie. So that is partially because we're not sure if this guaranteed hit nullify effect, it lasts for 3 turns, right? So we'll check to see if it has expired or not, but basically that was Yuffie's turn 1, and we'll kind of just manually count and see if the effect expires by the time Sephiroth attacks her. So here you can see that was Runestern using Barrier Break, and it didn't hit her at all, even though it has plus 30 accuracy from the Transcendence ability upgrade. And over here, seems like on the left hand side, pretty much everything is the same as before. I'm gonna skip this here because we've seen it already. Dark Fina does heal up though, so maybe that will change things for the benefit of Dark Team. And that is definitely a lot of HP, and I guess it doesn't really matter because King Mont just, you know, cuts her down to size, and Yuffie follows up for the guaranteed finish. Oh, but actually by this point in the last fight, Dark Fina was completely dead, so this may actually turn the tide over for the Dark Team. We'll see in just a moment if that is indeed the case. Meanwhile, let me go over to Discord and turn on my notifications so that we don't get any more random pings like that. Very interesting 2v2 situation right now, and King Mon comes in and uses the limit burst on Stern. It does nothing, no berserk, but no issue here. Yuffie downs him right away the turn after, and Sephiroth comes in and finishes off King Mont, and we're back to the 1v1 situation as usual. Surely by now the guarantee hit nullify effect is gone. There we go, Sephiroth uses Paralyzed Edge. I'm running the Soldier sub-job on Sephiroth for this express purpose, and also for some other stuff. Yuffie actually got paralyzed on the previous turn, so she actually had to skip a turn. This could actually change things for to the benefit of Dark Team, maybe. It's looking really close, and if next hit Sephiroth is able to land a blow, unfortunately he doesn't try to attack Yuffie, instead he goes for the crystal, and I think Yuffie is going to come in and finish the fight here and now. There we go. Even though it's been a crazy roller coaster ride of a fight, Fire Evade ultimately wins out by just a little bit. Alright, so we're back. I don't know about you guys, but watching the previous fight, it kind of felt like I was watching a martial arts action movie. There were so many twists and turns and so many unexpected things. So this is really the fun and joy of playing War Divisions. Even as you are heading into a fight that you prepared for, there are always things that can potentially surprise you. And yeah, things could change just based on certain skills and certain reaction abilities. So now we're going to head into a different version of this fight. This time around, I've turned off the Masamune in waiting skill. So I believe what's going to happen is on turn 1, Sephiroth will be running forward to the left and forward slightly, and using his Veil of Woe skill to give him barrier and AP recovery for 3 turns. So we'll see how this fight takes place now that Masamune in waiting is turned off. And we're off to the races. Once again, the 2 Fire Evade units come into buff up King Mont for positioning purposes. As we can see here, Veil of Woe on Sephiroth. And straight away, Runestern runs to the other side and does Keen Blade. And then there's Keen Blade over here as well on King Mon's side. Re-Raise is now up on Dark Fina here. And so is Shadow Dance on Valentine Udira. And Yuffie does her Guaranteed Hit Nullify buff move. Now this part here is going to be exact same, I guess, so we're gonna skip this. Limit Burst on Valentine Udira doesn't take her out. This part here has changed. Runestern is no longer in range to attack, so he runs forward and buff his attack and accuracy, I believe. Valentine Udira comes in for an attack, and the left hand side here is the same as before. Now we've seen both cases of whether or not the Dark Fina reaction ability comes out, and over here, same thing, Valentine Udira is dead to Sephiroth's second attack. Left hand side here looking pretty typical. I believe Yuffie is going to come in and take out Runestern. Wait, oh, I thought for a moment he survived. In that case, Sephiroth comes to do a little bit more damage on King Mont, and he does his Limit Burst, but who did he use the Berserk Limit Burst on? I'm curious about that. So on both Sephiroth and Dark Fina, so I think I think pretty much Fire Evade has won. Well, even if he didn't get Berserk, the next turn, Yuffie was going to win anyway. So as you can see here, turning off Masamune in waiting has somehow shifted the fight such that Fire Evade has even more favor. I mean, this time around, Fire Evade actually won with 2 units remaining. I have to say, this kind of scenario is pretty rare. Before even recording this video, I did run this fight a couple of times, and usually it ends up with Yuffie and Sephiroth being in a 1v1 situation, and Yuffie just winning based off that. So I have to say this is a bit of a rare occurrence, but it can definitely happen in your guild battle fights. And one thing to note is the main reason why Fire Evade is winning Dark Team over here is because of the Carmen map itself. As you can see here, there is this giant hill in the center. So any map that has a bunch of height differences that causes Sephiroth to make it hard for him to attack the targets, this will actually buy certain teams like Fire Evade a bunch of time to get into the right positioning and to deal their damage while avoiding a bunch of damage from their enemy attackers. So depending on the map, if we were to play on a different map, something that is that has no peaks in terms of the things on the map itself, maybe Dark Team with Sephiroth may actually take the win here. So I want you to get out of this video the idea that really in this matchup, either side can have the advantage, and it really depends on the map you're playing on. Finally, before we close on this video, I just wanted to end off by showing you guys that my Sephiroth in the JP version has exactly 0 reincarnations, and my Yuffie as well. I believe I did not reincarnate her at all, but I'm not actually too sure. So there we go, she actually has a single reincarnation. I think it's because I didn't like the stats the first time around. But it shouldn't affect things too much. You really don't feel the effects of reincarnation until about 20 or 40 times. So you really need quite a bit of reincarnations for that. And just to show you the rest of my units as well, 0 reincarnations on Valentine Ildira, and I think the next one is King Mons, hiding around here somewhere. There we go, 0 reincarnations here as well, and Darkfina is one of the units that I got relatively late, so I didn't have any time to reincarnate her. And then Ruinstern as well, he's the last one. Ruinstern, I can actually do a bunch of reincarnations, oh, actually no. Well, in any case, my Ruinstern doesn't have any reincarnations as well, so as you can see here, it's pretty much an even playing field on both teams. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. How did you find it? Was this interesting to watch? Definitely let me know in the comments below, and let me know what else you want to see in my future videos, because like I said before, the plan is to give you guys a new World of Visions video to watch on a daily basis. It's something that I am already in the works. Sorry, I have a bunch of videos in the works, and yeah, it's going to be, I think, fairly interesting. But definitely, if you have any ideas or thoughts on what else you want to see in my videos, do let me know, and I will do my best to make them a reality. For now, this is it for this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one.